What's up, everybody? It's your boy Mel here for another classic review, and today I'm reviewing This has to be... Okay. It's the 1966 film, Munsters Go Home. Released in 1966, and this was the film that concluded the series after its run for 3 seasons. Features the original cast, except for one, Pat Priest, who played Marilyn in the series from seasons 2 and 3. They didn't show up, so it was played by Devin Watson, making her the third Marilyn, because there's actually, I think, 3 or 4 I know, because there was a different Marilyn from the TV film Monsters Revenge. And a different Butch Patrick. I hate when I stuttered. But anywho, before we begin, did you subscribe? Did you hit the bell? If so, what are you waiting for? Let's go. So yeah, then we get an opening credit with a panning of the Monsters residents from the series with, in glorious color. Ha! Yeah. We get to see the funeral hearse of the funeral home where Herman works as the embalmer. Where we get to see a wandering stranger walking, thinking, oh great, someone died. He took his hat until he realized it's Herman. When Herman gets up, oh boy, you know what happens. When Herman makes a weird joke, the guy his umbrella went, he just broke down and ran screaming. As you know, the original cast are here: Fred Wynn, Yvonne DeCarlo, Al Lewis, and Butch Patrick. Except for Pat Priest, like I said before. I don't know why she never showed up in the film, but it also makes Debbie Watson the third Marilyn. Since the original one from the I don't remember her name. She appeared in the pilot and the first season until she never returned in season 2 and season 3, which was played by Pat Priest. As Herman enters his home, he gets scared. He got jump scared by Lily, until she has some bad news for him that his uncle passed away, named Lord Munster from England, which Marilyn asked, she didn't know there were English monsters, until Grandpa said, "You could, wherever you go in the world, you always can dig up one of our relatives." Nice. Eddie, too excited, wants to know what they got. Lily reads the will, and I'll behold, Herman is now the 5th Earl of Chaucer, a lord, which got him so excited that he starts to wreck the place, as in the fireplace, the couch, while Marilyn and Grandpa, when Grandpa tells Marilyn he always wants to go to England, but now he's not so sure. It cuts to during the day, featuring the famed monster car, featuring with the words, "To London or bust." Which, everyone started to get ready. They check out if Grandpa was ready under his laboratory, which we thought he's making some type of potion. Instead, he's making booze. Then we got Marilyn, which, she's the ugly duckling in the family. Eddie brings a surfboard, which is actually has a lid of a coffin. Everybody's ready, even Grandpa bringing his portable laboratory, which is kind of pretty cool. Where you got that back from, Mary Poppins? Well, she's the one with a black old carpet bag. Why not a portable laboratory in your bag? When he's about to leave, Herman opens the hidden door under the stairs, which we get to see Spot. Tell him to be a good boy and don't eat anyone until they get back. Literally, they let just anybody get eaten by Spot. As they leave the house, we get a cutscene where we get to see Monster Hall in England. We get to see 2 guys moving some strange box, looks like the size of a coffin, talking about how eerie the manor is. And we get to see a cut of somebody who look out the window, which is Crookshanks, the butler, played by John Carradine. If you don't remember him, John Carradine also played Herman's boss, the owner of the funeral home, in the series. which is kind of cool, bringing him back. First being Herman's boss, now a butler. Now we're back in the States. Gates upon the SS United States, which is a famous ocean liner built by the United States. But to this day, she's still in mothball. Wait for some organization to restore her to her natural glory. We've seen photos of what she looks like now. And poorly, she should be turned to a museum like the Queen Mary. The monsters enter her in the hallway, which everybody starts staring at them, which Herman tries to be incognito. What the back of the jacket says, Lord Munster. Oh, how incognito. Meanwhile, they try to settle in. One of the ushers tries to leave and asks Grandpa if he wants anything else, which, oh boy. Herman says, oh, for me? Thank you. Try to bite his arm, which the lady smacks him with an umbrella and says, bad Grandpa. And Grandpa says, sorry, I'll catch you later, which ran screaming. Herman tells everybody his Grandpa's stateroom is in the next door, including Marilyn's. As for Eddie, he sleeps in the cupboard. In the drawers. Literally, he sleeps in the drawers. Eddie asks why his dad inherited an English title, and he thought he was made in Germany, which he did when he left Dr. Frankenstein's lab in Germany in an early age. He managed to arrive in England and been adopted by a family called Munster, where he got his name from. Which we got a small gag from a drunk guy trying to confuse everybody from his wife. First one, when he opened the door, a woman screamed. He opened the damn door again and said, beg your pardon. Then when he opened Herman's room, he thought Herman was his wife until he insulted him and say, you look awful. And Herman say, I beg your pardon. Until we get to see his wife right there and drags him. You know, he's drunk again. Well, the announcement mentions all visitors ashore. They're about to leave. Herman, they're afraid about a rough crossing. Herman thinks he's seaworthy until the ship starts to move. Oh boy, seasick. Right there in 2 seconds. During the ride, Herman wearing a life vest. Really? A life vest in bed? Which keeps complaining that he's not strong enough to die. Which Grandpa sent Marilyn and Eddie to get his portable laboratory from the car. In the hold where the cars are, Marilyn managed to get the bag, but he sees Eddie goofing up in a Ferrari, telling him to get off his car. Then she got in. Then she got caught by the owner, a guy named Moresby, who was racing in the United States. And soon those two had a small affection. Which, yeah, this will be the point. Back at the room, Herman starts to get argumental because he doesn't trust Grandpa with his medicine, because we all know Grandpa keeps slipping up with the pills. So, to prove that it works, Grandpa took the pill, drank water, but whoops, ain't seasick. Oh no! He took a wolf pill, which Herman starts to laugh hard. Grandpa tried to get back to his room on time, but nope. As he opens the door, he comes out turning into a giant wolf, which the crew spots him, mistaken to be a loose dog. He's locked in the kennel, which there'll be a problem. Marilyn thought they could pick him up after they arrived in England, but remember, according to English law, they had to be quarantined for 6 months. So yeah, Grandma's gonna be in the clink for 6 months. Ha! Then we get back to Munster Hall, where we meet the main family. Grace Munster and her mother, Lady Effigy Munster. While including her son, the man-child, temper-tantrud Freddie Munster, played by Terry Thomas. If you don't remember him, you ever seen Vault of Horror? Done by Amicus, he appeared in one of the episodes where he's a neat freak until his wife kills him and dismembers him and organizes every body part ever. But yeah. Freddy receives a wireless, saying that Herman is finally arriving, and he has the audacity to call him to Lord Munster, which even his mother agrees. Freddy starts to throw a tantrum until his sister throws a crumpet at him for being a sniveling brat because his father hated him, and that's why. To make sure exactly his revenge, he puts all of it into Herman. But before that, He contacted their leader, the Griffin, which we don't know who it is until the end of the movie. He receives a letter with the insignia of the Griffin, where they had to scare him, which we all know that might not work, but hey, they never met them, so yeah. They met during which Freddy wants to bash him with something jagged as a mace or an axe, which yeah. If Martin didn't like, she calls the butler. She summons the butler, Crookshanks, by Jared Carradine, explain what's going on. She tells them to go to the other room, which she tells Freddy to put away the battle axe, but he throws it right back where it was. Literally throws it back in the drawing room. Grace and Freddy are talking until Freddy mentioned that he sent cousin Herman a package, a bear fruit, which is a term for them, an apple. An exploding apple. Which, yeah. During the night, at the party, Herman's trying to get ready for the captain's party, which Lily doesn't want to because, face it, she don't want to go to Monster Hall without her dad, so yeah. Herman says goodnight to Eddie. Before he grabbed the damn bomb apple without even knowing. He knows the ticking. He thought but his wife told him it might be his watch, which he grabs the apple and tells him to go get his dad. Then she hears it until she thought it was a noisy worm. She throws it out of the portal and boom! Exploded until she thought it was actually thunder. Literally, she thought it was thunder. Then we get to see a little jump cut of Marilyn and Roger having a great time. Meanwhile, Herman's trying to sneak into the kennel, which, yeah. Two criminals hear the howling of Grandpa's howling, mistaken to be a werewolf, which they mentioned a goof from the Wolfman. If you've ever seen Lon Chaney Jr.'s The Wolfman, yeah. After that, Herman has to get in, breaks the lock. When he got Herman, when the two crew members see Herman, they ran screaming. One knocked out when he tried to climb up, and the other ran to one of these, I can't remember what they called. They're like giant where the auction goes. Yeah, into that. And Herman comments, they never seen the presence of royalty. As Herman walks by, Roger knows Herman carrying Grandpa in his wolf form. What does he try to explain to Marilyn? But Marilyn thinks it's some kind of bad joke, and she left him. Yeah. And we arrive to England. They're at customs, which, yeah. Lily made Grandpa turn into a fur piece, literally. Meanwhile, Roger trying to get off ship, which forgot in customs, anybody who's a British subject has to wait for a health inspection, which, yeah. They managed to get off the docks of England, in which he never turned back into a wolf. That's when he sees a cat, chases the cat until he passed through a barrel, which, oh boy, he turns back into himself again. He doesn't remember that at first he was on the ship, now he's on the docks of England chasing a cat. Then we're now on the crossroads in the countryside of England, trying to find out where's Monster Hall. Then we arrive to the pub called The Bird in the Bush, where a couple of customers talking about what's been going on in Monster Hall. What is the secret? We get to meet the two guys who were moving the crates, which they getting paid good because of moving the crates to the express office from the crate. The one who's taking the pub is the employee named Millie, the barmaid, which I say she's the hot chicken in there. Or when he's going to call her a slice of cake. While she checked the phone, out of nowhere, Grandpa shows up, and everybody starts to forget. The guy's car mask popped open. When Grandpa if anybody knows how to get to Monster Hall, that's when they give him directions. That's when Grandpa disappears in a puff of smoke, and the door closes by itself. That's when everybody says, "Now I'm frightened," and they all drank. Back at the manor, they spot Crookshanks tells Lady Effigy that they're arriving, and they start to put the Griffin plan into action, which, yeah, they're about to scare them. Which she tells Freddy to be wearing the sheet, while Grace does the controls, which is, the props. The Mets arrive at Monster Hall in the thunderstorm, which Herman and Lily and everybody likes because, remember, they're like anything with a storm. So, yeah, and with the facade of Monster Hall, they're like at home. They're in the ruins. Marin's still thinking about Roger, which Eddie tells him maybe if he dreams about him, that'll make it better. Then he tells Marin goodnight, then he goes to the closet and tells Grandpa goodnight, who was asleep in the closet. And Eddie climbs up into his drawer, the drawers that he sleeps in. Then we get to see Herman and Lily enjoying in their room. Herman's too excited to go to sleep, which, yeah, that's when the plan started to work because the sound effects of screaming ghost chains, and this is when Herman says, Lily, they're playing our song. Wow, that's their song? Damn. That's when they started to pull out these weird ghost gags, like a dead woman in a coffin, a slimy panel with a skeleton, then a him painting showing the skull, and they're doing speed, literally, they're doing quick. The one who's controlling it is Grace. And out the balcony, a hanged dead man. And then came Freddy in a ghost sheet. Literally, tried to pretend to be a ghost, and said, die. Die! And Herman, as usual, said, how you doing, Mr. Die? I'm Herman Munster. And then Freddy sees him, he just ran screaming right through the damn wall. Literally, he just busted through the wall. Which Herman thinks he liked. He liked a good show. And they go back to sleep. During the morning, Freddy explains to his mother what he saw, which she shrugs it off, telling him might be his imagination until she meets the family. What she saw, when she sees her, is a great Scott, and her monocle falls into her tea. That's when Grace and Freddy sees Herman, like, oh boy. Yeah. Oh boy. So, yeah. They started introducing us one by one. And we get back to in the hallway where when Freddy gets still pissed off because he wants to be Lord Munster, which, yeah, the plan, remember. Until it mentions the word sharing, then we meet Squire Mosby. Roger's dad mentioned that about the Munsters, going their reputation for 100 years. They think he should be hanged, drawn, and quartered. So, yeah. We get to see him riding the bike. And Marin runs into him, which knocks him off his bike and falls into a small stream. Which Marin apologized. Squire Mosby throwing a temper tantrum. Like, it was his fault until he realized he heard Marin, it was her fault. So yeah, he becomes happy and brings her to his home, where to meet his son, which turned out to be Roger's parents. Meanwhile, Herman writing a letter to his friends from the funeral home, explaining what everybody's been doing. We get to see Grandpa talking to Crookshanks as he's cleaning a former race car belonging to Herman's late uncle, mentioning that he was a racing driver that won the road race, the Strasser road race 12 times until the 13th. He was forced off the road by Squire Moresby. Fortunately, Freddy cannot race because he gets car sick. Even Lady Effigy was a race car driver at her time. Then we get to see. That's when things get weird because when Lily and Eddie go to the village, she's trying to go into the store, which they close the doors on her face. They mention what is a tomato, which that's how they pronounce tomato in Britain, which they've been throwing tomatoes at Eddie. When a couple of schoolboys tell him, Monster, Monster, evil lies, Monster, Monster, die, die, die. Which Lily becomes pissed off and they leave. Back at Roger's home, that's when Squire Moresby brings the trophy that won by the race. That's when Marin knows the name Lord Munster, which is Herman's uncle. That's when they found out that she's actually related to them. Which, when Moresby tells her that they never had a Munster here for the last 100 years, if it was back in the old days, they'll set the dogs on her, which she got pissed off and she leaves on her own. Even calling Roger a British rat thing. Yeah. Back at the hall, everybody starts to talk about what's going on until Grabba mentioned back at the pub, they were mentioning the secret of Munster Hall, which, yeah. That's when Herman wants to play detective, but Lily said, nope, you're not playing detective. But you know how Grandpa and Grandpa and Herman are. During the night, Herman sneaks out of bed, placing a dummy in his bed, and Grandpa waiting, so they go downstairs. They found a hidden passageway to a fireplace. They both sneak in, which the two guys from the pub arrive for their pickup. Which, yeah, during that, Herman and Grandpa sneak through first. A drop gauge just dropped on them. Then they have to cross over I don't know what this was. Not a pool of nitric acid or boiling oil. Do nitric acid make a boiling sound when they get heat up, or that boiling oil? They have to climb over it with a pipe. As they arrive, they encounter the two guys, where they scared them off. Literally scared them off. One ran, the other one just got in the truck and drove off. The man arrive, they see the box. Grandpa opens it, freaks out. Then Herman asks, who's in there? Is there anybody we know? When Herman opens, what do you see? And Herman's kind of ways. He thinks it was play money. Yeah, he thought it was play money. But it's actually British pounds. He mistaken the Queen as Mary Poppins. Damn. After that, they break into the secret room, which, oh boy. What did they found? A secret counterfeit ring, which, oh boy. That's when Herman starts to make some names like call the police, call the FBI, get Scotland Yard, phone Batman, and shouts, Car 54, where are you? Yeah, if you don't know Car 54, that was the show that the actor that Fred Gwynn and Al Lewis, who play Herman and Grandpa, were in before they were in the Munsters. So yeah, they try to keep calm and they'll tell no one because hey, as they leave, Herman's trying to take some fake money and Grandpa knows it, grabs it, tells him to cough it up, puts it back, and tells him to leave. When he returned to bed, he tried to pretend that, but Lily already knew. When he sank to bed, Lily smacked him with her flower, telling her where he'd been. Herman made a story that he went to the bathroom. It was a long way to get some water, and then he fell asleep. During the day, Herman told Lady Effigy, which she knew of this, but she pretended she didn't know. While Freddie and Grace were nervous because, well, face it, Americans are very stiffy with counterfeiting. That's when the next plan in the Griffin's plan, she wants Herman to compete in the Strausser Road Race next Saturday, which, of course, Herman obliged because he believed the Moresbys disgraced Marilyn, his niece, so he had to take the honor, either that or a duel, which he doesn't have a gun permit. Well, Grandpa wants to talk to Herman about what they discovered. He told Grandpa he already dealt with it, which what Grandpa knows about Herman. Yeah. As he tried to drive, he actually crashed the car. Roger visits the manor, but Crookshanks tells him that she's not there. And when he left, Crookshanks throws Roger's gift into a bush. Later, Marilyn is sad, but Eddie talking with her aunt, which meanwhile, back in the garage, I don't know, the carriage area, Herman and Grandpa and Eddie are building the car, which they dug up a golden coffin. Then they start talking about they're going to win the race until Herman somehow lays next to a blowtorch and got his butt on fire. He ran and had to put himself. He just put the fire in a horse corral where the horse drank the water. After that, the race is about to begin. Herman ready to go for the race, which we get to see the Dragula again. If you don't remember that car, this is the second time this car appeared, because it first appeared in one of the episodes in the Munsters where Herman wanna be. It's called Herman the Racer or Drag Racer, which the first time he lost the car to a professional driver, which he was hiding from Lily. Then they built a new car, which the guy who was racing sabotaged. But yeah, I'm going too far. After that, Herman starts about to leave, and then Lily and Grandpa are caught by Freddy Munster, tied up in the basement, where Freddy explains who the Griffin is, but still doesn't know who it is, about the counterfeit ring and that. In the Shout the Road race, everybody, Marilyn and Eddie manage to ride at the stands, where they spot Roger with his parents. Unbeknownst to them, as they leave, Roger's about to get ready until he gets knocked out by somebody. And somebody took his place. It turns out to be the Griffin. One, it has the Griffin logo on its gloves and a logo on his helmet. Which you can't see the face, it's blindfold, just to switch places. Which they still. Herman rides at the races, which everybody stares at his vehicle. Well, then Grandpa and Lily manage to break free, but they're still stuck because Freddy's there guarding with a shotgun. So, the race is about to begin, and off they go. As the race started, the boys from that throw tomatoes at Eddie knows it, they're about to throw another tomato, Eddie ducks, and the tomato lands on Squire Moresby. And he's like, "Oh, what is this? That is a tomato, sir." The race begins, and you see Herman racing. Oh boy. And Herman's having a good time. He's in dead last until he hits the transmission, and there's a mode that says, "Go, go." He goes from last to first, in tremendous speed. The two guys show up, which, yeah, they pick up the crate, which, unaware, there's a surprise. Back at the races, things are getting well until when Herman managed to cross during the first round. The Griffin pretended to be Roger, trying to force off Herman by hitting the fences, which Marion thinks is Roger, but it turns out Roger's tied up in a maintenance cupboard. During the whole time. Meanwhile, as the two truck drivers are driving, they hear a creaking and cracking. It turns out when they turn around, it was Grandpa and Lily, which freaked them out. They landed into a pond. They both jumped out. Out of nowhere, there was a motorcycle with a sidecar that says "Shouster Delivery," just right there. They managed to get a ride. The race continues. Somebody shot Herman's car in the tire. Herman fixes it by putting a towel that he has around his neck, a scarf, putting the hole, taping it, and blows the tire with his own gust of air. Damn. Then we see Lily and Grandpa spots some horses and steals the horses. Yeah. Back in the race, it still continues. Moresby forces off one of the drivers into a tent and leaves. Back with Lily and Grandpa gets hit by a branch, which he leaves him behind until he can transform into a wolf and hope he didn't get the pills off because he don't want to become Mr. Clean. Yeah. Back in the race, which we get to see Roger still struggling trying to get free. Herman's still there. Lily spots Herman and tries to tell him to get out of the race, but Herman didn't hear him. He thought he heard her say, "I love you," instead of they trying to get rid of you. Which Herman speeds up. While Lily riding the horse stopped because there was a barrier of trees there, which falls her off. And she spots a hay carriage, which first she did, she was to detour the driver into a different road, which Herman accidentally goes through. They pass over like a cattle loading area, which Herman just crosses over and "Yippee!" That was pretty funny. Then the second time is with one of these hay, these giant, hay carriage? Yeah. She managed to get the other driver to lose control, where she gets stuck, but Herman just went through. He just went straight through, and we get to Couples hiding in the hay, and this ain't the first time. This is the second time. Herman managed to almost reach to first place, and yeah. Things are getting good, actually. He drove backwards, and yeah. They actually knocked a barrel of oil. Well, Rogers supposedly pit crew, which they ain't. They're working with the Griffin. Herman managed to cross the finish line backwards. He managed to got up, applaud himself until the Griffin's trying to hit him with the car. But remember, Herman is like Superman. He's like the Man of Steel. When he hits Herman, the car breaks apart, sending the driver straight up and lands to a fish and chips stand. As the crowd goes there, Marilyn hears Roger, which turns out it wasn't Roger who was trying to kill his uncle, which makes her happy. Damn. Oh yeah, during the other half, Grandpa was being chased by the fox hunt. Literally. They mistaken him for being a fox. The tally-ho! That's the largest fox I've ever seen. Tally-ho! Damn. Even after that, Grandpa managed to turn himself back to himself, but the beagles, the foxhounds, still believe he's a fox. Hey, have you seen a wolf before? He's stuck in a tree. So yeah. Back to the scene of the accident. The police arrived, which they're trying to find out who it is. Grace and Freddy are there trying to find out who it is. The first mention was the bar owner. Then could be Crookshanks because face it, in American movies they do films about the British. They think the butler did, and it turns out it was Millie from the bar. Which Herman, until Freddy doesn't know why. That's when Squire Mosby explains that, including Hennessy, who was the owner of the pub, explains that the other Munsters trying to get rid of him because they wanted him to have Freddy have the title of Lord Munster, and that's why. Which Herman starts to put two and two together. Grace and Freddy ran, but Herman managed to catch up, grab two tires, and toss it over them, capturing them. And Freddy said, "Really? What a filthy rotten trick!" And Grace hits him like a cat. That's when the police tell him that Lady Effigy and the butler are trying to get away, which, when she asks, "To the airport and step on, my good man," and it turns out to be Lily and Eddie telling her, "You mean to the police station, my good woman?" Which, yeah. We get a cutscene back to Monster Hall, where Herman's writing another letter to his friends from the parlor, explaining that about what's been going on, that Millie, the barmaid, is actually the daughter of Crookshanks, the butler, which he taught her how to drive, and she started the counterfeit ring. Lady Effigy promised to marry Freddy and to become Lady Munster, which that was the whole thing, and they try to get the whole way to get rid of Herman. But as the way Herman puts in the funeral business, in an embalming condition. Outside the courtyard, Roger and Marilyn were talking, explaining that it's a good thing because Herman actually is giving away Monster Hall to the people. So yeah, the two embrace with a kiss, which, unaware, Herman, Grandpa, Lily, and Eddie want to see the handsome boy, which when Roger looks, he sees them four staring at them with the weirdest faces. That's when Roger tries to explain, but he says forget about it and continue kissing. Back outside, when they're about to leave, Lily's a bit upset because it's a gloomy day because there's no storm, but Grandpa managed to try to throw up a pill, which gave an instant rainstorm, but it wasn't a storm. It's a snowstorm, which you can't win them all. Herman beeps the horn, which trying to get Marilyn, which then plays the theme where it plays the Munsters theme as they leave Monster Hall in a snowy day, in a snowy night, and that was the Munsters. Sorry. And that was the Munsters, concluding the series after 3 seasons which this film marks the end of the series because it was filmed after the end of the series. So yeah, this is a good tribute to the Munsters. After that, when the car leaves, they actually got out and celebrated the end of the series. The cats actually had cake for that. So yeah, and that was the Munsters Go Home, which marks the end of the series, and actually is a good movie. A lot of gags. It marks a good tribute to the Munsters after the end of the series. Unlike the Rob Zombie, on the other hand, is like different, but I consider this one, the Monsters Go Home, a true ending of the series. But we know there are others like the TV film, like Monsters Revenge, and the reboots. But yeah, let me know what you think of the Monsters Go Home. Have you seen the movie? Like, I know the Scream Factory released it on Blu-ray, so yeah. If you bought the film and you've seen it, yeah. If you've seen the series, tell me what was your favorite episode, or you've seen the movie, what was your favorite scene. And if you're new to the channel, remember to subscribe, hit the bell, like this video, and I'll see you next time. See ya. Peace.